Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are looking at the full moon. It's on December 4. This full moon is at 13 degrees of Gemini. We're going to do a short overview and then we're going to look at your sign and what's ahead for you. So aspects are the way that planets talk to each other, and with this full moon at 13 degrees, we see that it is not really talking to any other planets except between themselves, the sun and the moon. Now, the orb that I give for planets talking to each other is 7 degrees, and that I give for even aspects like semi-sextile and inconjunct. For a sesquiquadrant or a semi-square, I squeeze it down to 3 degrees. But you can see on this aspect grid here that while the sun is opposing the moon, they're not making any other aspects save one, which is that exact square to the north node and the south node. So I cleared off everything else off the chart, and so you can see this very clearly, how it's actually forming a grand cross. So a grand cross is 4 squares with 2 oppositions. So we can see that here are our squares, and then our oppositions, and that forms our grand cross. And what a grand cross feels like is that you are in perpetual motion. The one square leads to the next square, leads to the next square, leads to the next square. So here with this full moon, what we have is there's a constant choice over and over and over again, or in succession perhaps, which is, are you going to choose what is familiar and easy, south node, or are you going to do your life path but do the harder thing, pull yourself out of your comfort zone and move forward? And involved in this is the sun and moon, which is one side the moon is needs and the other side the sun is ego. And so there's a combat, this part of you going on that says, this is my identity. And so if your identity is the explorer, the adventurer, you're going to go towards that north node. If your identity is, I don't want to do anything new, I want it to be comfortable and easy, you're going to go towards that south node. And so from this perspective, everyone is getting this choice right now over this 2-week period of saying, everything else doesn't matter. What are you going to do with your life? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? And that will help you shift your identity and fulfill your needs. Now, the other planets aren't quiet completely. They're talking with themselves. So think of this as like you're at a party and you could decide who you're going to be at that party. Are you going to be the person who goes out and mingles with all of these people that you don't know, maybe finding new connections for a relationship, a friendship, some sort of business collaboration? Or are you going to stay by the punch bowl and just watch the crowd and stay to yourself? So that's the north node, south node, sun, moon dynamic going on. The rest of the party that's going on is these other planets. And one of the things that we see is this ongoing energy of this grand trine, which is starting to form at the time of this full moon. Is this always so beneficial? No, I don't think so. I think that it makes things easier, and that means that it makes the good things happen easier. It makes the bad things happen easier. So the bottom line about this full moon is that you're either saying, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, I'm going to go do what I want to do. Or if you're waiting for the world to open up and the economy to shift, or for the phone to ring or something like that, it says don't do that, because you're doing that grand cross that says take action. And the way to take action is to go out and pursue what it is that you want. And as you do, you find out if that's truly what you want. Is it the north node that you're doing? Or is it the south node that you're doing? And if it's the south node, you say, that's not what I want. You let it go and you move on to the next thing. And you keep moving forward until this clunk, clunk, clunk of the grand cross turns into something that's smooth and moves you forward. Okay, Pisces, let's take a look at your love and money predictions, and that means we are going to need to change this chart. We're going to start by changing the house system to a 0 Aries chart, and then we want to rotate the chart so Pisces is on the ascendant. So these predictions are for Pisces and Pisces rising. This puts the full moon right at the base of your chart, lighting up your area of home, family, and foundations. Now, when that full moon comes, which is once a year, it's lighting up this area. It says pay attention to what's going on at home. That can be something as mundane as, does the furnace need to be serviced? Or, do I need to get someone in to repair this or that? This could be the relationship with family members or the people you live with, and that can mean that some communication is necessary, or maybe even just standing back and picking up the vibes, which you, Pisces, can do so well, and pick up those vibes and see what's really going on. This is also about your foundation and tapping into your intuition about if your foundation is stable. That is, do you have the skills needed to be going forward in the world? Do you have a few things like, do you have your emergency fund? Do you have, some food in the pantry? Like if you're in a hurricane area, I don't know if there's still hurricanes in winter. If you're in a flood area, do you have the supplies that you need? Those sort of things are highlighted for this 2-week period. And then once the 2-week period's over, those things are set in place, and then you don't need to think about them. Now, in this chart, we also want to take a look at your planet rulers, and you have 2 of them, and one is Neptune and the other is Jupiter, and they are in a trine along with Saturn and Mercury, forming a grand trine. Now, a grand trine is very fortunate energy. I've talked about it multiple times. Your friend needs a wedding cake, and you call up the bakery, and you're the 1,000,000th customer, and so the cake is free, delivery is free, the cake arrives, it's beautiful, everything is perfect. But you had to make the phone call. So I know that there are people who have the grand trine energy and they don't make the phone call, and they get a free cupcake. They get something. But if you move forward on your goals, if you think about what it is that you want and take some action, you can give this a push, and then the grand trine momentum really carries it. Now, you are a water sign, and this is a water sign grand trine, but it's in fire houses, and when we mix fire and water, we get steam. Steam is the thing that powers something forward, so that gives you the energy to go do this. This is in the area of yourself and leadership, creativity and risk-taking, and knowledge and adventure. So this is really about taking some action into some new realm, to step out of what is comfortable. You don't have to step out a lot, just step out a smidge, and that will get you to see new opportunities. You will find people to help you, you'll find new information, and I think you'll have a good time when you do it. Now, another feature of this chart is how you've got so many nice planets here elevated in the chart. That means that you are very noticeable, and that people are they're seeing you in a favorable light. Now, when we look at your love relationship, specifically new love, we want to see what's going on with your 5th house and the ruler of your 5th house, which is that full moon, which is sitting at home. So the issue is that you're at home and the world is ready to receive you, but if you don't leave the house, then it's hard to be found. We see that reiterated here because there is no aspect going on between your ruler Jupiter, nor is there an aspect going on between you and this moon, your other ruler Neptune. And so basically, this is a great time. If we can get you out the door, you could meet someone. I think that most of this would be your friend nudging you, saying, this person just asked you out, are you interested? So because you seem to be focused at home And that's all okay, because this energy is going to line up better in the future. And so you don't even need to worry about it if you don't want to. But if you are actively looking, if you have a party invitation and you're really looking forward to it, go with somebody who can then help you spot these people who are your admirers, the people who want to get to know you. Now, when it comes to your current love relationship, your existing love relationship, it's a much different story, very, very happy story, because we're looking for the relationship between the ascendant ruler and the descendant ruler. So, and that's going to be, let me get that line out of the way here, and that's going to be if Mercury is talking to Neptune, or if it's talking to Jupiter, and of course, they're all three part of the grand trine. That means the two of you are more in harmony, more in sync than usual. That is that you can solve problems together, or you can come together to work on something external to the relationship. Maybe you're doing a project for the kids, or maybe there's some sort of home repair, renovation, or maybe you're moving, some sort of big project. The two of you are more united, and that you can come together to work on things. This is really a good time for doing some travel, and to connect that way. And so if you felt like you haven't been connecting lately, consider maybe going on a trip together where your whole daily routine gets disrupted, and then you can find each other and what you care about each other, and the foundation of the relationship gets strengthened. Now, when it comes to your money, we're very concerned about what's going on in your second house and your second house ruler, and that is Mars in Sagittarius. So it's making an inconjunct to your sign ruler. So an inconjunct means that you have to make an adjustment, that the things that you're doing right now aren't exactly working. Jupiter is still in your area of risk-taking and getting out of your comfort zone, and now Mars is elevated, and so maybe you've tested some different marketing ideas, or you have floated some ideas with your boss and they've been shot down. Now the thing to do is to make adjustments, to shift. It's saying that the marketplace wants something different, so look at what else you could offer. Do some brainstorming with some friends, or ask the universe for some support and help on this. But you can find a different way of going at something, and that's going to bring you the money. If you try the same way you've been doing before, then you're going to get those same results. With an astrology reading, you get more information about who you are, your talents and abilities. You get to see what obstacles are ahead, and you can get a game plan for how to get past those obstacles and find success. So if you're interested in having a reading, there's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to money from business and from investments, we want to see if there's a relationship happening between the second house ruler and the 8th house ruler, and that would be, is Venus talking to Mars? And actually they're not, however they are in the same sign, and Venus moves faster, so it is going to catch up with that Mars outside this 2-week period. So that means that you're on the right track. You may not be seeing all of the profits right now, but there's a hint that this is the right direction to go. Basically, there may be a trickle, and that can be much bigger into a flow as we get closer to the end of the month. But right now, this is to kind of follow the clues in the direction so that you can then expand where it needs to be expanded. So this is, you're on the right track, but it's not happening quite yet in this 2-week period. And then when it comes to money derived from careers, so that would be a paycheck, we want to see what's going on with the 11th house, and specifically the ruler of the 11th house, which is Saturn. So, and Saturn is making a square to your money planet. So a square is combative energy. That means that you need to be paying attention, that some activity is needed, some action is needed, that there's some sort of stimulus response going on. Now, it's the energy generally for your career right now is wonderful. It's extraordinary. You have Mercury, Venus, Sun all elevated in your chart. That means that you can find a new job if you want, you can get a better position if you want, you can move up in the company, but it does not necessarily mean that the company you're at is stable. And so be aware that if there's a big shift or change, that if you don't have friends and connections in this company, that you could get forgotten, and you don't want that. So, or if that's the case, you do definitely want to move on. Over this next 2 weeks, and because it's such a short period and I'm not looking exactly at your chart to see what's going on, but in general what this says is there's disruption happening in your career and new doors are opening for you. So instead of trying to hang on during the shakeup, to look around and say, oh, what direction do I want to go? The Saturn here says that you are the authority. The Saturn is in your own sign of Pisces. So that means that you know how to do the job, or you know how to get the job. So from that standpoint, then we add in the Mercury, Venus, Sun elevated, and we see that people are open to receiving your energy. So this is really good news, but it does mean that it's going to be a busy 2 weeks where you may be fighting fires or dealing with unhappy or stressed out coworkers and supervisors. And if you're proactive, you're going to do great. And if you feel that the energy is shifting enough to make your current company unstable, then it's time to start looking around for something new. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I recently did a class of predictions for 2026. There is now 17 videos that you can access. There is a link to get access to those videos. I also put out a weekly newsletter, an illustrated newsletter. And so if you like astrology and you love black cats, this is the newsletter for you. That newsletter is free. There's a link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.